Hey everybody, it's Paul Grossman, the Dark Arts Wizard, and today I'm going to have a walkthrough of the solution for the BCS Candy Mapper Bug Bash of 2021. As you can see, there is a lot of defects that we put in there. Nobody found them all because we put so many in there. It only took 2 hours to give people places to look for it. But I'm going to walk you through all of the ones that are in there, including all the movies that we are referencing as we go along. So let's get started with the home page. The home page had our rules for it. It said welcome to the Bug Bash over here, and the first thing you may notice was that the listings over here, A2 and Roman numeral 3, were the first defects that we had right up front. A second thing that we had was our icon for our product. It's a candy mapper with a map on it, but over here the candy mapper doesn't have a map background. And if you also notice where the reflection is, this reflection over here, this icon, this image is upside down compared to what we actually have for our registered logo. If we click on Find My Candy, well, Find My Candy is actually supposed to take you to the Find My Candy link over here where you get some questions. So that link didn't actually work. Let's go over to Find My Candy and then we'll come back to some of the stuff that's in home. Answer me these questions 3. What is your name, your question, the airspeed of the velocity of an unladen swallow? So that's our first movie, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. One of the things we wanted to do in this website was to type in our name. So my name is Paul, P-A-U-L. Oh my gosh, I can't put 100 characters in there. How about what is your quest? P-A-U-L. That seemed to work. That's great. And this one doesn't even say how many characters it can take. It's just completely empty. So that's 3 errors over here. And by the way, does this take 100 characters? Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And if I put this in here 10 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, how many characters is that? That's about 67. Too short. Does not take as many characters as we expect. How about this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Actually, this one probably goes up to 666 characters. So that was another defect inside the website. Alright, let's go back over to our home and catch those over here. The easiest ones you could find here were that the word wrong was misspelled right at the top of it. The next was our image for Candy Mapper was upside down. Moving on, we have a phone number over here, which is a British phone number that they generally use in British UK films, and it's a fake number, which is perfectly fine, not a defect. We're okay with that. My problem is that the phone number here, and a couple people caught this, is BOO. So maybe the B was supposed to be an 8. Is the O's letters? Are we punching the letter O or the number O? What is that phone number? And in fact, if we scroll down a little bit, we might find that the phone number is slightly different down here and also has some orange and some white. So that doesn't seem to work very well. The phone number was another one that was just completely messed up. Our search for the Candy Mapper. Search for, let's look for slider. Now if we do a search for the slider, this would take us to a reference, but it only took us to Candy Mapper R2. Now one of the first rules that we have, let me bring that back up there. The rule was that you could only find defects inside of the Candy Mapper domain, not Candy Mapper R2. And in fact, if you did go to Candy Mapper R2, and you can see here it is, document all manners of defects in Candy Mapper domain in 2 hours. However, any defects that you might find up here would not count. You'll also notice that the Candy Mapper R2 domain, it's the solution website. It has the Candy Mapper image correctly placed, and all the numbers are set correctly. So the search doesn't quite work the way we think it is. Next challenge was to select Worcestershire from this list of counties. C-O-U-N-T, county, not countries, counties, which is perfectly fine. Going through this, you may have noticed that these are all UK counties, and we took these directly from a UK postal service so that we knew that these are the ones that are most likely going to appear. But there are a few weird things here, like Rhode Island is a state in the United States, should not be appearing in there. One of the other ones was the difficult ones we found is if you go through this: Bristol, Cambridge, Cornwall, Cumbria, all perfectly fine, but there's one missing. That is Cheshire. Reference to a Cheshire cat that disappears. That would give you another movie reference, Alice in Wonderland. There are 2 listings of East Yorkshire over here, so you get points for that. That was good. And one other thing was Nottingham. It's actually Nottinghamshire. There is no Nottingham County, and that's a reference to Robin Hood. Okay, that's basically all we had in the list there. The next thing going on is to connect with us on social media. Well, let's go to Facebook. Does that take us to a Candy Mapper page on Facebook? Yeah, it certainly does. Works perfectly fine. All right, cool. How about Twitter? If we go to Twitter, we go to, the Dark Arts Wizard. Well, that's me. It's not actually the website for Candy Mapper or a listing for Candy Mapper, so we're going to have to call that one a defect. Go to Instagram. What does Instagram give us? Oh, it's me again, talking about what's going on. And here's a picture of me hosting the game site. Let's go back over here. After that, we've got Pinterest. What does Pinterest do? Oh, Pinterest takes us to Candy Mapper website for test automation. Cool. And a very young photo of me over there. Let's go back and check out LinkedIn. Where does LinkedIn take us to? It takes it to me again. So we'll count that as a defect. That's no good. And next we're going to go to YouTube. What does YouTube do? YouTube takes us, it takes me to my YouTube channel, where there are all sorts of videos about how you should go and check out the BCS bug bash over and over and over again. All right, let's go back over and check out some other things here. Vital signs. Our vital signs, zombie gun. This is perfectly fine, nothing wrong here. The devil's advocate, finding the details. 150 years in business, 1 owner. Well, you could call that a defect if it's 150 years. However, she's a vampire, so perfectly normal. Next one was dropping us a line, entering some names, emails, and messages. This all worked perfectly fine. The site was protected by CAPTCHA. Well, actually, there was no CAPTCHA listed anywhere. If you caught that one, you could write that one as a defect. We had a nice little plug here for listening to the QA podcast with Jonathan Wright. Hope he appreciates that. Coming down here, we have the Candy Mapper website address, located at the Winchester Tavern, 221 Monson Road. 221B is a reference to Sherlock Holmes. That's where they were at, but it wasn't on Monson Road. Winchester Tavern, New Cross, Newgate. Actually, this address is for Shaun of the Dead, is where they filmed a good portion of that film. So if you went and Googled that, you'd find that particular movie reference. And again, our phone number is kind of weird, 0B00. It's different every single time. All right. By the way, this address over here, Winchester Tavern, if we jump down to the bottom, let's take a look at our address over here. That's not the same address. That's at Westminster Bridge, 7 Westminster Bridge, Vauxhall Cross Station. Vauxhall Cross Station does not exist. However, if you do go and Google it, you'll find that is the entry point to a secret location for James Bond 007, which was a clue there, for Die Another Day. All right, continuing on, we were going to see... well, there's nothing to see behind the curtain, but there's something here. What the heck is that? So what is this thing over here? Well, let's try this. If we hit the F12 key and we go and click on whatever the heck that is, what do we get there? We get a little span, and the span says This is sample content, but it's not being displayed at all. Ooh, that's not good. And also, we found this. A bit of code that is the hidden error, and we actually let you know you found the hidden error, and this is code that is executing, but it is very benign. Still an error because we intentionally did that, assigning the value a to a null and then saying null, you found the hidden error, is throwing an error, but it's very benign and it's not saying anything. And one more error that's in the application is that most of your images should contain alt texts for search engine optimization. And if I go over to any of these images, none of them really have that alt text. However, there is one that does have alt text to it. So if I go and click on that, the Candy Member image, and we take a look at the alt text here, you'll see that the alt text is a photo of the lake house, another movie that we had hidden inside of the website.